One of the biggest upgrades the Nintendo Switch 2 brings over the original Switch isn't just better graphics, it's better performance. We're already seeing a lot more games hit that sweet spot of 60 FPS, something that wasn't always common on the original Switch. And in some cases, developers are pushing things even further. For the first time, Nintendo players have access to a growing library of games that can run up to 120 FPS. A few years ago, that would have sounded like a complete pipe dream on a Nintendo system, right? Well, believe it or not, there are already 17 games with confirmed 120 FPS support on Switch 2. And in today's video, we're going to take a brief look at every single one of them. Let's dive into it. Our first game on today's list is a game I just talked about at length a few days ago on this channel, that game being 4PGP. Yes, this is one of those 120 FPS games. It'll operate at 120 FPS at 1080p in handheld mode. That even includes when the game is played in 2-player split screen. In 4-player split screen, it'll bump down slightly to 90 FPS at 1080p resolution. That's still pretty good though. In TV mode, the game will target 4K resolution at 60 FPS. While it's not the most graphically impressive game on the Switch 2, it's still a racing game at 120 FPS, and I do find that just a little bit impressive. Blood Refreshed Supply is a remaster of Blood, a first-person shooter that came out in the late 90s for personal computers. This revamped version looks great. It has a metric ton of improvements and additions like brand new content and the fact that it has online co-op, among other things. The Switch 2 edition adds split-screen support for up to 6 players, 4K support for dock play, and of course, 120 FPS support for silky smooth gameplay. The upgrade pack is free too, if you have the standard Switch 1 edition. Braid Anniversary Edition has a Switch 2 edition, which some may not realize is a thing. And heck, I think most don't even know there's an Anniversary Edition of Braid. But I digress. The Switch 2 edition has support for up to 1080p in handheld mode and 4K in docked mode, and will operate up to 120 FPS in either mode, docked or handheld. The upgrade pack is $2.99 on the US eShop, where you can get the game outright for the same price as the standard Switch edition. NT creates roguelite card battling RPG Card-en-Ciel has an option for 120 FPS mode on Switch 2. You can choose that or favor a 4K resolution. The upgrade pack is $4.99 on the US eShop, and it includes all that I mentioned here in addition to mouse control support. Card-en-Ciel, the cozy fishing game that I absolutely adore, has 120 FPS support. The game offers 120 FPS, up to 4K resolution in TV mode, and 120 FPS at 1080p resolution in handheld mode. Basically, no matter which mode you choose, you can get up to 120 FPS in either option, and the game looks pretty darn gorgeous with it. Those pixel graphics look beautiful at 120 FPS. The Nintendo Switch 2 upgrade is a free upgrade for those who have the standard Switch version. Hades 2 is also beautiful on Switch 2. That goes for either mode really, but in docked mode, gamers can experience the game at 120 FPS at 1080p resolution, with the gameplay looking all silky smooth. If you have a monitor or a TV that supports it, then you gotta give it a go. The game looks so good at 120 FPS. Just like Card-en-Ciel, the Switch 2 upgrade pack is free. So if you have the standard Switch version, make sure to download the Switch 2 upgrade when you get a Switch 2. You'll get enhanced textures and effects in addition to the frame rate boost here. I believe Handy Hockey was the first game to support 120 FPS. It came out on June 9th for the Switch 2 kinda out of nowhere. The game is supposed to hit 120 FPS and handheld modes. It looks nice, crisp, and clean, and hey, it also offers mouse controls, which are nice. both Nintendo Switch 2 Edition upgrades for Hollow Knight and Hollow Knight Silksong allow for better effects for each game. But more importantly, at least for the context of this video, the Switch 2 editions enable support for 120 FPS in docked play. For each game, you will need to go into the game options and enable TV mode framerate, and you'll get 120 FPS as long as your screen supports it. It is very nice for these games, especially for fast action games like these two are. They look real good. The biggest game on this list is Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, without a doubt. Nintendo's own game, in its Switch 2 edition form, can achieve 120 FPS. In the settings, make sure to select Performance Mode, and boom, the game will operate at 120 FPS at 1080p while docked, and 120 FPS at 720p in handheld mode, with HDR support of course. The game certainly looks good at 120 FPS, but it does make a few minor adjustments in order to achieve that. Quality mode will give you higher resolutions, but still offers 60 FPS. The newest game on this list, Mina the Hollower, supports 120 FPS for even smoother gameplay. Oh, and apparently it has support for mouse mode. That's kind of funny, a mouse mode option for a game about a mouse. Anyway, it looks super nice, and between Card-en-Ciel and this game, I think a good case could be made that all pixel art games on Switch 2 should support 120 FPS somehow. Do you agree with that? If you do or you don't, let me know down below in the comments. The other first-party game on this list, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, has support for 120 FPS. In fact, one of the mini-games allows you to experience different frame rates, including 120 FPS in some kind of guessing game of sorts. Look, I'll be honest, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour is a pretty weird game. It's also a game that I believe shouldn't have existed in the first place, but that's an argument for another day. The Switch 2 edition of the shoot-'em-up Psyvariar 3, at least that's how I think it's pronounced, has 120 FPS support. You have to select the performance mode in order to take advantage of it. Quality mode allows for 4K support in TV mode. Just like the many other upgrade packs in this video, the upgrade pack for this one is free for those who have the standard Switch 1 edition. Sayonara Wild Hearts got a free Switch 2 upgrade a while back, and it introduces a new remixed arcade mode, as well as higher performance options for both TV and portable play. In handheld mode, the game runs at 120 FPS at 1080p resolution, and in docked mode, players can choose between 1440p at 120 FPS or 4K at 60 FPS. This game looks amazing at 120 FPS. It's an experience for sure, and I do highly recommend checking the Switch 2 version out. Here's a game that, I'll be honest, I know very little about. SHUTEN Order apparently is a multi-genre adventure game, which means it has all elements of different types of games into one. It was created by Kazutaka Kodaka, who is best known for the Danganronpa series, which can only mean two things. One, this game is going to be as weird as heck. Secondly, it means that there's going to be a murder mystery on our hands, alright? Well, let's see. In this game, players take control of a protagonist named Ray, who awakens with no memory after being resurrected by a divine power, only to discover that they are the murdered founder of the SHUTEN Order, and the player has only 4 days to identify and kill their murderer. See? I was right. It's weird as heck, and there's a murder mystery on our hands. Par for the course for this man. Anyway, this game does support up to 120 FPS in both docked and handheld modes on Switch 2, as well as it has mouse control support, which is fitting for an adventure game, I guess. The upgrade pack for the Switch 2 edition is just $2.49 on the US eShop. Simogo Legacy Collection is a collection of 7 games released for mobile platforms between 2010 and 2015 from publisher Simogo, along with lots of extras of bonus content and curios. Yeah, I'll be honest here, I haven't heard of this publisher before either, but apparently the collection is a good thing, making excellent use of the Switch and Switch 2's capabilities. This is a collection that is meant for handheld play only, and the Switch 2 edition, which is obtainable through a free upgrade pack, supports 120 FPS in handheld mode. Ys 10, Proud Nordics, for the Switch 2, is the enhanced release of Ys 10, and this game is capable of 120 FPS performance. By selecting Performance Mode, the game can operate at 120 FPS in both docked and portable play. In order to achieve this, there are some slight visual compromises made compared to the default mode, which hits 60 FPS anyway. Like this might be another case where, like Metroid Prime 4, I kinda encourage you to check out both modes to see which one you prefer. 60 FPS might be enough for you, or you might get addicted to the 120 FPS option and want to choose that instead. So that's the full list of every confirmed 120 FPS game on Nintendo Switch 2 so far. 17 games in total. Now, the Switch 2 is still very early in its life cycle. We just passed the 1-year mark, and more developers are starting to patch/upgrade the older titles to support 120 FPS as an option, as well as new games are being added with this option, so I'm sure this list is going to grow. This is something I'd love to revisit down the line to see how big this list grows, which I'm betting it's going to be a huge chunk of games before it's all said and done. Anyway, I have a question for everyone watching. Which game do you think actually benefits the most from having 120 FPS as an option right now on Switch 2? Is it Metroid Prime 4, Hades 2, or is it something else? Let me know down below in the comments. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I do appreciate it. And consider subscribing with notifications turned on so you do not miss out on any future videos. I cover a lot of Nintendo stuff, game reviews, game recommendations, eShop videos, all that good stuff. And if you like the sound of that, then you're in the right place. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you soon with the next video.